Tonight, the agony of Anna Nicole. Days after the Bahamian birth of a baby girl, the bombshell blonde wakes to find her 20-year-old son dead.
He was discovered sometime after 9 a.m. Police has launched an investigation.
A mother grieves and wonders, how did her dear Daniel die? Also, he was a loving husband and devoted dad. The cops say he snapped and became judge, jury, and executioner of his next-door neighbor when his wife told him the man molested their daughter. Vengeance or murder. That plus singers and celebs sometimes make odd couples, but can they make sweet music together? We investigate. So stand by. We're at large and around the world. Hi, everybody. I'm Geraldo Rivera. The latest in the sad case of Anna Nicole Smith and her poor son coming up later, as well as that suburban dad who is in court today for killing his next-door neighbor. But up front, the baseline killer in Phoenix, Arizona. Is this the baseline killer? Looks pretty darn close to me. Cops won't say, but on Monday, 42-year-old Mark Goudeau was charged in the sexual assaults of two sisters. Both attacks previously attributed to the baseline killer, named for the road he made his hunting grounds, and whose year-long robbery, rape, and murder spree has left 8 dead.
That was great, but he didn't do it.
Goudeau's family insists cops have the wrong man, and his lawyer, Corwin Townsend, says the perp plans on pleading not guilty.
People are assuming that he's connected somehow to the quote-unquote the baseline murders, and I think that's an unfair assessment.
But listen to this. The guy's got a rap sheet as long as my arm. And to make matters worse, he shouldn't have even been out on the streets to begin with. Maricopa County DA Andrew Thomas blames a clemency board for releasing the ex-con 8 years early on a sex crimes and attempted murder rap.
The system failed because the clemency board did not have to release this defendant.
Now we go to that Connecticut dad facing murder charges for stabbing his neighbor to death in a rage. Shocking details emerged in court today about what exactly Jonathon Edington's little girl said that this dead guy did to her. Jonathon Edington was a friendly neighborhood father. But on August 28th, police say he snapped. He tore over to his neighbor's house, broke in a window, and stabbed 59-year-old Barry James to death. Edington's bloody rampage came after a phone call from his wife, Fairfield Police Captain Gary McNamara.
Yeah, it's one of the many tragedies. During that phone call, we believe Mrs. Edington relayed a disclosure that was made to her by their daughter, indicating that Mr. James had sexually molested the daughter.
After the attack, police found Edington at his kitchen sink washing off the blood.
It's really shocking and surprising.
Neighbor David Lindsay spoke to senior field producer Craig Rivera.
I said to my wife that if I had little children and it happened to me, I probably would react somewhat similar.
Residents on this tight-knit Fairfield, Connecticut street never suspected James of child abuse. So what happened between these two families? There was definitely bad blood between them. Police revealed that back in June, Edington called the cops, accusing his neighbor of lewd behavior.
At that time, Mr. Edington indicated that Mr. James could be seen in his window in varying stages of dress or undress.
But it was Edington's word against James's, and no charges were filed.
He raped my son every day.
Edington's vigilante actions called to mind Gary Pluchet's infamous airport shooting back in 1984. Pluchet was enraged over the kidnapping and molestation of his son Jody by his karate teacher. When the teacher was busted and brought back home, Pluchet ambushed and killed him, exacting his revenge during the perp walk as the cameras rolled. Pluchet murdered a sicko that he knew had kidnapped and molested his son. The Edington case up in Connecticut, though, is different, because the prosecutor up there still doesn't know if the man that Edington stabbed to death really did anything to the young lawyer's daughter. But if Edington sincerely believed it and spontaneously killed Barry James in a rage, then whether the dead man really abused his child, the vigilante dad still has a strong defense.
Whatever a 2-year-old child says really needs to be examined.
Criminal defense attorney Arthel believes that no one should immediately trust the words of a tie.
But in a police report released today, Edington's daughter, quote, explained she did not want to go home because of Barry. She described to her mother by pointing to her groin area with 2 fingers and stating that Barry is this. When her mother questioned her further, the little girl said, quote, Barry puts it on her belly and her nose. He comes to me in the starry nights. Idala believes that even if Edington's daughter made it all up, in trial it won't matter.
If his wife called him and told him a lie, our daughter was just molested by the next door neighbor, as long as he believes that that's true, that's what matters.
As a father and as a police officer, what's your impression of someone who's going to set out to avenge a crime against their family?
I would hope that they would seek out law enforcement's assistance and not resort to taking action on their own.
If the facts are what they seem to be in this case, then they should save everyone's time and the taxpayers' money, and the prosecutors should just let the dad plead guilty to manslaughter, because they will never, ever get a murder conviction. And Edington might even get a jury of other parents to say it was justifiable homicide. Still ahead, another shocker revealed in the deadly Kentucky crash that took 49 lives. Was the pilot using old information? That plus the Deborah LaFave confessions. The sex teacher reveals everything that went on between her and the young boy she seduced on the classroom couch. That and this coming up on At Large.
The latest tragic twist in the strange life of Anna Nicole Smith. From stripper and playmate to rich old man's wife and reality TV star. Now she's grieving the mysterious death of her only son. What happened in the Bahamas? That's next.
And Nicole Smith, she's a woman whose heart is torn in two. Just days into celebrating the birth of her baby daughter, an unimaginable tragedy struck the flamboyant blonde, as Laurie Dhue reports.
The mystery deepens in the sudden death of Anna Nicole Smith's 20-year-old son Daniel in the Bahamas early Sunday. What began as a week of joy for Anna Nicole Smith turned to tragedy. On Thursday, the 38-year-old Hollywood bombshell gave birth to a healthy baby girl at the private doctor's hospital in Nassau. Just 3 days later, son Daniel, who had flown to the Caribbean nation to celebrate the arrival of his new sister, was found unconscious by his mother in her hospital room. Royal Bahamian police officer Walter Evans.
He was discovered sometime after 9 a.m. He was found in the room.
Smith reportedly thought Daniel was sleeping, but could not wake him up. Tia Brown is the associate entertainment editor at In Touch Weekly.
Anna became hysterical. She eventually called doctors in. They took him in, and unfortunately, he was pronounced dead.
Daniel, an aspiring actor, often appeared on his mom's reality TV show.
I missed you from school today.
The cause of Daniel's death has yet to be determined. Royal Bahamian police are awaiting results of an autopsy performed Monday afternoon. A statement on Anna Nicole Smith's website says in part, quote, "We do not believe that drugs or alcohol were a factor." Anna called Daniel her rock.
Daniel's love was unconditional for Anna. Sometimes we see parents doing things that we always don't agree with, but you could tell sincerely that he loved his mother and he respected her, even if he didn't always agree with her decisions.
And Daniel often appeared to take care of his famous mother when she seemed less than in control. Daniel Wayne Smith was born of Anna's 1985 marriage to Billy Smith when she was just 17. The marriage didn't last, and Anna was left to take care of Daniel alone.
Anna was a teenage mother, so she grew up with Daniel. So they had a very close relationship.
Anna began working at topless bars in Houston to pay the bills. She was soon discovered by a photographer, and 2 years later was crowned Playboy Playmate of the Year. She later became the body behind the Guess Jeans ad campaign. But perhaps nothing drew more attention than her marriage to then 89-year-old wheelchair-bound oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall II.
She says that they really had a connection, and even though there was maybe 6 decades that separated them in age, they really bonded.
Marshall died less than 2 years later in 1995, leaving her a whopping $450 million. But his family contested it. For years, she fought with Marshall's children, eventually taking her case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Anna's appearance has also been a constant battle for yo-yoing weight, keeping her a staple of the supermarket tabloids. But Anna Nicole would show them all yet again. In 2004, becoming a spokeswoman for the Diet Aid Trim Spa after losing nearly 70 pounds. And with the arrival of her new baby, Anna's life seemed to be back on track. But those close to her fear she may never get over this tragedy, saying Daniel was her life.
I'll bet you dollars to donuts that when all is said and done, drugs are involved.
Well, right now, the Nassau Guardian is reporting that antidepressants were found in Daniel's system. However, we want to point out that the police are not confirming that right now. They are waiting word of the official toxicology reports.
Okay, we'll follow up. Thanks.
We will.
See you later. Still ahead, the butler has done it again. He's written a new book on Princess Di with some surprising details about what went on behind the castle walls. And Deborah LaFave, the sexy middle school teacher serving 3 years house arrest for having sex with an underage student, spills the secrets of her steamy after-school affair. That and this coming up on At Large.
Talk about your odd couples. It's one of the hottest shows on television. But what makes these unusual songbirds such great TV? And how do they pick these people? That's next.
Celebrity duets just minutes away, but first, Laurie is back with a look at the world at large, beginning with what sounds like some incredibly stupid mistakes made in that crash in Kentucky.
That's right. The Comair Flight 5191, I would say that the families of the victims would certainly agree with that. A full 2 weeks after the crash that killed 49 of the 50 people on board, airline officials have discovered that Comair was using an outdated chart of Lexington's Bluegrass Airport when that flight crashed shortly after takeoff. The chart had not been updated since January, despite recent changes to the taxiways. Comair received a new chart on Friday. Police are questioning this man in connection with the death of the elderly aunt of Dateline NBC anchor Stone Phillips. The suspect led investigators to the abandoned farmhouse where they found 81-year-old Doris Phillips' body. California officials are now investigating whether computer hackers were involved in that digital recording of Governor Schwarzenegger made during a speech-writing session last March and exposed to the world last week.
The same thing of Cuban. I mean, they all are very hot. They have part of the black blood in them and part of the Latino blood in them.
Well, the butler has really done it this time. Billed as the must-read for the fall, The Way We Were is Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell's second memoir. The book's most bizarre blather, a tale of Burrell and the princess digging a grave on the grounds of Kensington Palace in which he claims they buried the stillborn child of one of Diana's friends. And schoolyard seductress Deborah LaFave is back, telling the Today Show's Matt Lauer that she had feelings for the then 14-year-old student she had sex with, feelings she just didn't know what to do with. LaFave admits she thinks he will have a hard time trusting women one day, and asked why she thinks her case grabbed international headlines. LaFave says because she's pretty and sex sells. Maybe she's got something there. That is the world at large. I'm Laurie Dhue.
Maybe
Geraldo.
she does. Thanks. When it comes to singing, most of us think we sound pretty good in the shower, but how would your singing voice stack up against a Grammy-winning recording artist? On a new reality series, celebrities were brave or crazy enough to find out. Arthel Neville reports.
These 7 celebrities performed duets with some of music's biggest superstars. You voted, and one of these 7 will be sent home.
Welcome to Celebrity Duets, the show where stars from television, movies, and sports pair their pipes with musical icons.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna get you.
The show, produced by Fox, the same company that produces Geraldo at Large, features do-or-die performances, after which viewers cast their votes, sending one sad celebrity packing every week. After last Friday's duet with Go-Go Belinda Carlisle, actress Leah Thompson was gone.
The nation has spoken, and the celebrity leaving the competition tonight is Leah.
Strong contenders remaining for the top spot include Jay Rodriguez, of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy fame, seen here tearing it up with R&B superstar Brian McKnight. Then there's Xena, warrior princess Lucy Lawless, who has traded her battle axe for a microphone to get foot loose with Kenny Loggins.
Is it intimidating, though, to get up there? Not only are you live, it's not really what you do.
Terrifying. This is way harder. You know, we're all singing in the shower. We all think we can sing. I'm telling you, this is, it's impossible. And I've got a whole new respect for people who make their living this way.
One of the more surreal pairings, country crooner Clint Black with actor Cheech Marin.
I've many miles behind me.
Now, I got to tell you, what I like is your political approach to getting votes. You just straight up went for the Latin Hispanic vote.
The Latino vote, a vote for Cheech is fast track to citizenship, and you vote as many times as you want.
But Cheech's future on the show may go up in smoke if Judge David Foster has his way.
You're not going to make it to the end.
Foster, a record producer, is joined on the judges panel by Marie Osmond and the legendary Little Richard.
When you came out, I said, oh boy, remind me of Tina Turner. I said, that's that Tina Turner legs, not the voice, the legs.
The grand prize, $100,000 to the charity of the winner's choice. Whose dulcet tones will triumph is anyone's guess. But one contestant in particular is counting on a little help from his friends.
Oye, G-Man, man, get all the Borinquen in New York, man, and ring up my number. I'm number 4, so, you know, get it on, brother.
Oh, Arthel, I absolutely love that guy. I love Cheech. You're going to have all my friends, legal and illegal, vote for him. You think he's going to win?
You know what? I don't know if he's going to win, but I love Cheech, too. And if it were just based on personality, I'd vote for him for that reason alone. But I got to tell you, I'm surprised and a little bit sad that Leah Thompson got booted off.
Me too. She was really elegant, and she seemed so sad in front of her daughters there. But these shows really are amazingly hot, aren't they?
I got to tell you, I mean, good for the producers. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I don't know how this is working so well. We got to tap into it, Geraldo.
Yeah, whatever works, honey, whatever works. Thanks, Arthel. Stand by, everybody. We'll be back in a flash to tell you where you can find the Fountain of Youth. If you'd like to live longer, stick around. But first, here's what's coming up next time.
Geraldo at Large, Virginia. She was assaulted by her husband, but when she accused him of abusing their daughter, he got full custody. Why did a new law strip her of all rights?
We'll tell you what every parent needs to know.
Plus, it's the dorm diet that will make sure you're not the big man on campus. Don't miss the next Geraldo at Large.
If you want to live longer, then move to my neck of the woods in suburban New Jersey. Although the much-maligned Garden State gets a bad rap from everybody from Woody Allen to Tony Soprano. There's a dramatic new report out that says it's the place to be if you want to see 90.
The Harvard study released yesterday compares life expectancy in counties across the country. And while a person's race and family income certainly play big roles in how long a person is expected to live, geography is also destiny in America. And no group does it better than Asian American women living across the Hudson River from Manhattan in Bergen County, New Jersey, mostly of Korean and Japanese descent. They tend to live longer than any other group in the nation. These gals in Palisades Park, for example, just over the George Washington Bridge from here, can typically expect to celebrate their 91st birthdays, while the average life expectancy for men and women of all races and incomes county-wide is about 80. At the low end of the totem pole, several counties in South Dakota, with mostly Native American populations. Their life expectancy for men and women averages just 66.6 years. That's a whopping 13 years, 4 months, and 2 weeks less than suburban New Jersey. And it's even worse on the reservations, where men can expect to live just 58 years. But what this Harvard study also shows is that while America is not as equal as we'd like her to be, there's more to life expectancy than money. For instance, the longest living whites are not the relatively wealthy residents of Connecticut or California. They're the low-income, small-town, and farm people of the Northern Plains, Minnesota, Iowa, and Colorado, where men average 76 years and the women 82. So what's up? Will you live longer if you move to Jersey? Probably not. What counts, the Harvard researchers say, is alcohol and tobacco use, blood pressure and stress, cholesterol, obesity, exercise, diet, pollution, and what you do for a living.
Still, it's nice to see Jersey win something for a change. So you go, Golden Girls. That's it for us. Until next time,